Reformation in Brazil. The rapidly growing plants of the tropical rainforest are very efficient at removing carbon from the atmosphere and storing it in their trunks and roots. But much of this living carbon reservoir has been destroyed by the clearing of forests to plant grazing grasses and crops. About 5 years ago, the opportunity came up through this idea of carbon sequestration to bring international funding down to protect significant areas of forests, but also to restore the patches between them that had been converted into buffalo branches. We began working with American corporations that were interested at that time in experimenting with carbon sequestration as one means to offset their carbon emissions. There are certain criteria that as an area or a site has to have potential as a carbon project. There has to be a threat of deforestation. There have to be large areas already deforested if you want to build a restoration component in. As we did, you're looking for areas that there's not so much pressure on the area, that whatever you reforest will be chopped down again, 10, 15, 20 years out. The other thing you're looking for is a type of forest that grows back quickly and captures a lot of carbon. The Atlantic forest in Brazil is about the equivalent of an area from Newfoundland to Florida. It is among the most biodiverse forests in the world. This is an area that's been under a lot of pressure. However, a lot of that pressure's come just in the last 50 to 60 years. A lot of the impacts have come from industrial clearing of land, large-scale forestry operations that have cleaned out large areas of forest. So we can't blame folks 500 and 400 years ago for a lot of this. A lot of this has happened in our lifetime. We have 3 of those projects underway at Guatecaçava, with a total of about 50,000 acres of forest, either forest that's in good shape that we're preserving with these projects or pasture land that has to be restored to forest, and that we are reforesting. Idiot Lanky Forest in Brazil is considered one of the 5 hotspots of biodiversity in the planet. And we knew also that we only have 7% left of forest. So we had an urgent need to protect the forest. And there's a huge opportunity to reforestation trees here grow very fast here in the taiga forest after 5 years. When you walk through those trees, you're talking about like a 5-6 meters tall tree. So you already feel that some of them at 5 years you're ready few that you had like a forest. This one of our areas people has just planted. You see, the feeling is they are very fragile, so they need to be planted in a rainy day. Otherwise, most of them won't survive because the sun is quite hot here. So today, we might have to water them later on, and just to make sure they're going to survive in here. And then afterwards, they need to do the maintenance and just clean the grass, because this African grass are very aggressive for them, and then just suffocate. So this area we just planted, it's next to an area for 3 years old. So in the future, we expect to have the same grown-up forest as you can see there. So as you can see, we are in a 3 years old area. This area has gone through the same process as the other area I've just seen. So you see some grown-up trees, and a half of it has gone through it like a natural regeneration. So we don't need to do any maintenance anymore, because there, the invasive grass is quite controlled now. So that's an area that it's growing naturally. So we are helping to get the forest back, and we don't need to care about it as before, which is a very good thing for us. This year, we are kind of learning how to grow trees, how to develop technical do like any large-scale reforestation either. Thank you for is we have a lot of knowledge that we can take from here and take to any other place. So now at least we know that we can plant a lot of trees. So this is good because we need to plant to billions of trees in the blanket fort.